Your data is your story, and privacy ensures you control who reads it. So, from AI and responsible AI to regulatory compliances, Deepti Bhatia is one of the leading faces in India to lead the data protection race. Hello and welcome, Deepti, to our show. Please tell a little about your work and the stuff that you've been doing in this field.
Hi Devika, thank you for having me today here, and I'm happy to take this conversation forward with you. So, brief introduction. As you're aware, I am a banking compliance professional for last 20 years, and data privacy and protection as a banker was always a part of my job. But as we've evolved and we've seen the technology evolve, the importance of data as in has and the definition of that data has increased, and then there has been this whole separate genre where I'll say that a regulation is needed, and how we look at that usage of data in a different manner. I have, in the last few years, I would say I have gradually shifted my focus from from my wealth management, banking and consumer banking experience into risk management, and specifically with regards to managing the risks that are associated with use of data these days. I am a co-chair of New Delhi chapter of IAPP, that's the International Privacy Association body of, and every country has that they have certifications. And I am also an honorary president of FDPPI, that's the Foundation of Data Protection Professionals in India. We've been involved in, besides the normal certifications and a need to have a specific person in the organization who manages this data governance in the organizations, and how the data is used to develop products and function. We've also been involved in creating more awareness amongst the people on how their digital footprints are used, and how they need to be more aware of their digital footprints and be because our identity is no more a normal citizen, we are also digital citizens now.
Right. So when you talk about digital footprints, and this show is all about AI literacy, how do you see the need of AI literacy fulfilling these commitments?
I would say starting AI is nothing new actually. From where I understand is that artificial intelligence has been there for last so many years with us in different forms.
But specifically if we talk about generative AI.
Now with this tool of generative AI in hands of everybody, and that's the talk right now going since last couple of years. And with the advancing technology that has come in, and everybody is kind of using it, that's why we have suddenly become aware that okay, AI is something different. But I would say AI is a tool to me. It's not the end of what we do anyways. So AI literacy, being AI aware. Have you been ever using the smartwatch?
Yes, I've been using it for the last 7 years at least.
So yeah, I mean, I've been using it for like 7-8 years myself. So smartwatch is what? It is artificial intelligence that we've been using. It records our heartbeat, it records our steps, besides our blood pressure, all those things that
so it collects a lot of data.
Yes.
Basically, yes.
Yes, so it collects a lot of data, and what is done, because it helps at the end of the day. If I'm using it, okay, I want to analyze if there is a risk to my health, okay, if I get tired, you know, it's in my hands to monitor myself. I don't have to rush to a hospital every time. It's more of a preventive health for me. So that is one advantage that we have been using AI. We've been using smartphones, we've been using smart homes, you know, remote control lights and curtains and stuff like that, and all these things. So they are all there with AI. Now with generative AI, I would say that's the fact that has suddenly come up.
And I mean, the data can be hacked. In India already the laws are not that strong. Can we say that? Because the DPDP Act is coming, but still we don't have any laws for deepfakes. and other AI generated cyber crimes that are happening. So where do you see are the biggest threats and concerns, and probably literacy can play a role in awareing communities and citizens in that manner?
I would say we still have we have very basic regulations in place. We need more specific regulations, because as the technology increases, it gives us makes our life easier, but it also makes the life easier for a criminal and to
Yes.
it's not about us threatened by thieves on the roads now. It's when we log in, there is a issue, and our data is all over there. So there is a need for regulation, and in my different forums when we discuss in the companies, there is a little pushback that I have seen, that do not regulate because you are stopping the innovation. You are not letting us innovate because the use of data has been very free. So that concern is there, but then, and that we have seen it globally in the recent times also. Some countries, we are all aware of the big names which have been there in the last few months in our news, that they are pulling back the AI regulation and not regulating AI. But I would say we need responsible regulation along with innovation. We need to have proper guardrails when we use the technology, because technology at the end of the day is for our own good.
Exactly. And when you say guardrails, what can be good guardrails? What should be applied in the process to safeguard, data and the privacy rights that we have?
So guardrails is, first we need to understand what is the purpose we are making this technology. There has to be clear purpose, there has to be clear reason why this technology is being developed and what purpose it is going to solve today. What is the problem that we have in hand? We've been using robotics extensively in medical care, and that has really helped a lot of people, from their neural solutions to your spinal solutions,
Exactly,
all
yes.
those things. And we have seen that marvel of technology, and we've
In
seen
banking sector, in healthcare,
in everywhere
in
we have
education
seen,
as well. We are seeing.
everywhere we have seen the goods that are happening, and that is what the technology is there at the end of the day for. But when we kind of surpass those issues, the purpose that we have, when we start using that for something else, like when we are using it to do specific targeted marketing, there has to be the guardrail is that there has to be a line that you draw, where you're not going to target children with specific ads. We all remember when we were kids, and internet was introduced, and we saw our computers and laptops, and I remember there were child locks and child security.
Yes.
Today, those things, I would say, every 5-year-old probably has an iPad today, and half of our education is being done on iPad. I wouldn't say that I'm against that. I'm all for it. AI literacy begins with that. But AI literacy is just not how to use an iPad or how to use ChatGPT or how to use your some softwares that they have been given in the schools or offices or any other place. It is more of your AI literacy is knowing what technology and for what purpose you are using, what information you are giving. So it brings me back to Devika, the word data, because data we started with was your date of birth, your address, your name, email ID.
Yes.
But today every click on social media is a digital footprint. It's a data. How you are liking something, how you are commenting on your friends' posts. Even I was reading I was actually reading and watching one of the YouTube's podcast. I don't remember the name, sorry, right now, but I'll come back to you on it. And it gave me another insight. It said that with every selfie that you click today and delete it, it's getting recorded. So they say, okay, now we'll start giving you ads on beauty products. That's manipulation.
So you're talking about the influencer mechanism, the content creators.
So you're
dancing and you're showing a product.
You are. So I'm talking about that video had that you are clicking a photo in your mobile, but you've clicked 10 selfies and you're not happy with one of them, or you're deleting them. Everything is being recorded somewhere. For what are you recording it, and for what not are you recording it? And then and if we are talking and then we are seeing some ads with regards to beauty products, and then we are getting manipulated, and then we go and end up buying that.
Exactly.
So that's where the guardrails have to come in.
And if we speak about the guardrails, like there are 3-4 sides to it. There's the government side that frames the amendments and the laws. Then there's a tech side, the platforms. I mean, teens and tweens are there on social media platforms that are 13 plus, but they're already there from the 9 years of age or 10 years of age. So how do they cross that? I mean, why is there not a barrier? Why any question or any detail or any password isn't asked from the parent? Why the parent is not in the loop? I mean, there are so many questions which come to my mind when we talk about generation alphas specifically, because they are the digital natives. They are the ones who were born on, phone. Literally, they were born on phone. So why are there no restrictions there? We all know the profitable part of it, but why is the government not doing anything about it? Why are other policy makers not, taking a challenge there and doing something about it?
So people have noticed that there are works going on, and
if you could elaborate something
so DPDPA,
for our audience.
as we all say, is privacy related. That's the first step that India has taken for regulating any of your digital data that's there, and how protection has to be there from the organization side, and how any organization using a personal data has to protect that and use it ethically. And there are rights that have been given to citizens, and they are called as data principles and the data fiduciary, because there's this, I like the terms that have been used in the law as data fiduciary and the data principle, because you and me as data owners are data principals, and we are giving our data as in a trust relationship. It's your trust factor that is there. So the data fiduciary at the end of the day is bound by that trust. So you have to take consent. Obviously, there are legitimate users where you can take
but the
that.
consent forms are so long.
Yes.
I mean, you have to, if you want to accept a document or an app, no one goes and read that whole. I think I saw a reel where that whole document was many feet long, if it is actually taken down on a paper. So, but still, nothing is happening.
So the law says now, the DPDPA, that the consent has to be clear, meaningful, understandable, unambiguous, and easy to understand in the language of the person who's reading it, and the purpose for which the data is collected has to be clearly mentioned. So I see a lot of work that is going on right now in redrafting all these privacy policies, and specifically with regards to privacy notices, and making consent forms separate, because we always have one liner usually in our contracts when we sign up, that I consent blankly, and that one line serves as your consent, and then you are free to use that data. No, but the law has come and they have clearly mentioned on this consent management framework that needs to be worked on by every organization who is collecting digital personal data. Even personal data collected in paper form to be converted into digital later also comes under the same ambit of the law.
Okay.
So if today you are signing up some paperwork and giving away your KYC or your personal data on a piece of paper, but at the end of the day that the collector is going to digitize that data, then that particular transaction, that particular contract or wherever you have signed comes under the DPDPA law.
Okay, but there are so many. I mean, our data is on our phone. We have emails. We have banking stuff. We have medical insurance things that on our phones. But in India, most of the data gets hacked. I mean, I think recently there was this case where the medical insurance details got hacked, telephone numbers, MyGate communities that are there. I mean, if one person is looking for a rented apartment, he starts getting call from say 10 brokers that your flat is on sale from different societies. How is that happening? So there's some sort of hacking mechanism going on, or probably the data is on sale somewhere. Any laws or stringent rules or actions which are going to come for that as well?
Yes, there are a couple of things that I would want to say here. One, the data principles have been given rights. You can go back if you have, if you are getting a call from somebody and they have your data, you have the right to go back to them and ask, what data do you have of mine? Where from did you get this data? If there is some incorrect amount and if you're okay with them having that data, maybe 5 years back you gave that, you did one transaction somewhere, but they are still sending you marketing details. You can go back to them and ask them for erasure. That is there. The right is there with the people now. That they, so you can ask them to correct it, delete it, ask them to amend it, or ask them from where they have or what they have. If so, all these rights have been given to you.
And if I ask about the social media profiles, there are so many pages that post content of different people. Say, on college campus something is happening and someone shared it with that main group and it's posted there now. Now it's actually a data and privacy issue. How can someone share someone else's picture or video? So in that case, is there something that our audience should know about? What can they do about it?
Personal, any data that is exchanged for personal reasons. So if we both go out in a party and we click pictures of each other and you post my pictures online, then that is not any commercialization right now. So that won't be covered by the law. But you or me can go back to each other saying that, okay, I don't like it, you delete it, because we know. Specifically talking about say group pictures or school or campus, then a notice is usually given. I would suggest that like we install CCTV cameras for safeguarding premises, so that some antisocial elements or some untrue words incident doesn't happen, because the main idea of installing a CCTV camera over there was security. But if you, so everybody is kind of aware of it because we are publishing that. So usually in such forums it is well known that such pictures are used, going to be shared somewhere on the social media. But then nowadays comes the AI aspect of it, which is more complex. So we all know about this whole Ghibli effect that recently happened. And we all fall prey to it. And we all fell prey to it. Most of us, and despite me talking to a lot of my friends that don't do this, they still fell, because it just played on our psyche, that human psyche it played on. So that's how complex things are becoming, Devika. Now it's just not more about your basic privacy hygiene anymore. It's about AI, how AI systems are being developed. So data scraping is a big issue, which we need to address.
And I think Sam Altman mentioned it somewhere that anything that is public, all the data that is there online, it is all, I mean, the data can be trained on that.
Yes, so there is this whole debate.
Scary.
That there is this whole debate. So there are two aspects of it. One, any AI model that is made needs data, and there are two ways to get it. One, you just go on the web and scrape all the data, whatever that model that you are developing, and or you take it in a consented from the targeted audience. Like in this Ghibli effect, I would say happened. People voluntarily gave it. So
Yes.
whenever you and me are using any kind of Gen AI app, and we are inputting any of our data, that becomes part of further training of that model.
Yes.
So when people voluntarily gave up their precious photographs
Without
of their
understanding,
children
without
and
knowing.
and I've seen pictures which they came up, we would have not seen it otherwise on their social media, and those photographs also were submitted by those people, maybe their own childhood photo, or maybe their firstborn photo, which they would not have posted on Facebook or any other
Otherwise,
platform.
yes.
They liked that concept so much. So there were a lot of angles to it, and a lot of debate is going on. So that particular picture that you submitted to generate something else, that became a part of that data set.
And then can you go back and say, ask the data company to put that data away, because you will never know, you even never know about it.
See, there's a whole lot of complexity now that is involved. Though we have been given right that I can go back and ask a company, what data do you have, delete it or amend it. But how many touch points will a citizen go? How many places will I go back and forth? And how much time do I have to, spend on that? I may just go back to, say, a marketing agency from where I'm getting some emails. I would probably have gone there and shopped with them 2-3 years back, and I'm not shopping, but I'm still getting mailers. I can still go and say that, okay, I don't want these mails, and delete whatever my information you have, my email ID. It's not about email ID, it's about many things.
Yes.
So that is there, but then how many times will I keep a track of where and all? So one, I would suggest going forward we become more aware of how and where we freely give our information. Like a very recent conversation, and somebody in my community mentioned that they have put in their date of birth, time and place to generate their horoscope from ChatGPT.
Oh my God.
So, I mean, that's the extent of, I would say, AI literacy. AI literacy is just not about organizations or being, okay, I'm using this AI product, but how I'm going to use it, where, what information I'm going to give into it, and how is the best use I can make of it. I need to educate myself into using the best prompts.
Yes.
Craft them properly, because I need to be aware that with advancement of technology comes a cost, and cost is not to the company. Or I'm paying for that, say, a subscriber fee to an advanced version of a GPT, and I'm getting some benefit out of it. It's not limited to that. We are paying an environmental cost, which very few people are talking about right now. There's this whole need to address the whole effect on the natural resources and the climate effect that is causing the
Another
machinery.
report that I think it was some international forums report that came out, that AI is it's going to drain certain regions of water which are already facing droughts. So how it is going to affect the population, how it is going to affect the region, the climate, the sustainability part of it, that is just a completely different debate.
Absolutely,
it is.
Absolutely.
So coming back to the data and privacy part, what would be your suggestions for our audience? How can we keep ourselves safe? And what should we do about any sort of, restriction or regulations that are happening in the DPDPA Act? How should we know about it better? How should we know our rights better?
So I would say that be just cautious of what where, which link are you clicking on. That is like being the cyber safe, so that you don't fall victim to any cyber fraud which is happening.
Yes.
Be very aware of what is coming from actual source. Check the source before believing anything and anything on the internet right now. That you would be aware, Google just released VEO2, and the videos that are coming in, it's not available in India. I just clicked on it today morning just to check, because we were discussing. We have a very interesting discussion on 31st coming from my IAPP side. I forgot to mention that I am photographer myself, besides, and it interests me. So that is another area that pulled me into
the creative side of art.
Creative art. So we have a very discussion that is happening next week with privacy governance professionals and the artists themselves. What their concerns are, how they feel. And I thought, because I belong to both the communities, I wanted to bring them together and hear both sides and see if we could also come up with some suggestions, and we could, as privacy and governance, AI governance professionals, give some feedback to the government also, who's working on AI governance framework right now. They had consultation paper from January, and a lot of feedback was given from the industry. There's this whole uproar that a lot of jobs will go. But I would say a lot of jobs will go, but a lot of jobs will come also, because we need to rightly use the tool. I would say you and me are in that internet 2.0 again, probably in that era. So I was in a discussion last month, it's industry 4.0 that is happening, and the industry 5.0, which is going to
UA is already talking about 5.0 now.
It's in transition right now. So we are in that transition phase where we see the technology, we accept it, not accept it, but I think we have to accept it. We accepted internet. It brought people together. Right now, what we see is we play a very important role, like you, me, and people who are creating that awareness. We need to take this talk, what we are having, outside to people who are outside our circles of outside privacy people. We may be privileged right now to understand what is happening in technology, but there are a lot of people who are at the end of the day consumers. They like to use that technology, and we would want people to use that. I mean, I also would want to use a medical facility or any other creative tool which is there to make my life easier, but not get into the technical aspect. So that's the AI literacy for me that I need to spread, and we can bring that change in the community and see how positively this new technology can be adapted and to mold the further generation.
Definitely. Thank you for your wise words and very insightful discussions that we had. And this was all from me, Devika, from the AI Literacy Bridging the Gap series today. Next week, we'll come up with new guest and new topic. But remember, AI literacy and awareness, communication is the key. So we need to do more of AI literacy to reach different parts of the continent and across the world about topics, specifically data and privacy, which touches your core. Be very careful, stay safe. Until next time.